For the first time ever, Scotty and I talked to a Detroit Red Wing.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. I am a podcast producer for WWJ News Radio 950, while Scotty is host of Locked On Tigers, as well as a journalist for the Detroit News. And today we are joined by our biggest guest yet, the first time we've ever had a current Detroit Red Wing on the podcast with us. And Oskar Sundqvist is here joining us today to talk about the season so far and a bunch of other things. Oskar, first of all, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
Of course. So the first question we have, obviously, is you are part of a line that made history this season in the Redwood line, the tree sum. Depends on which broadcast you're listening to. If it's the radio broadcast, they call you the Redwood line. If it's the television broadcast, they call you the tree sum. What's it like being part of the biggest line in NHL history, but also being the smallest guy at 6'3" on the biggest line in NHL history?
It was cool when you saw that. Got a couple of laughs in the locker room. I didn't realize it until I saw it. I think it was the day after. But yeah, it's cool to be a part of. And like you said, I'm the smallest guy on that line. So it's not thanks to me. It's to Raz and Elmer that's being the tall guys.
What, like, before the season started, were you guys as a line, were you guys getting a lot of like practice together and whatnot, or was that kind of like the season starting? Let's just see if we put all the biggest dudes on a line, if that works. Like,
no, I mean, I think Elmer impressed so much in the preseason and got a spot on the team, and then they kind of just threw us together and seemed to work right away. So I don't know what their thought was. Maybe they were like, oh, let's look at the three biggest one and put them all together.
Not gonna lie, as Red Wings fans, that was what we were hoping for. We were like, okay, these guys are the biggest guys out there, so let's see if we put them all on a line together, how they perform and what it's like. And I mean, obviously it was performing really well because that line stuck together up until, unfortunately, you got hurt, and then as soon as you came back, Elmer's now hurt. But I mean, we're all looking forward to when Soderblom gets healthy to see that line come back together again, because I mean, it was a force out there to be reckoned with. I mean, 6'3", what's Ras? 6'5", 6'6", and then you got Soderblom at 6'8". That's gigantic. Unfortunately, Oskar, you are also the second tallest one on this podcast right now, as Scotty comes in at a towering 6'4".
Yeah, I didn't bring it up, for the record. I did not bring it up.
As long as I'm not the smallest one.
Unfortunately, I'm only 5'9", so I come in very far down the list.
He has an elite prospects profile, though.
I have an elite prospects profile. So go ahead, Scotty.
No, I just with that line, and we'll move on, I promise. But with that line, what is it like playing with a 6'8" forward? Like, does that like change your style at all or anything? Like, that's such an anomaly and such like a rare, like not seen often thing. Like, is that, I don't know, like he's like a beacon out there. Like, you can always see him. Like, what is it like what is it like playing with the whole line, I guess? What is on the ice? What is that like?
It's super easy, to be honest. And you kind of just trying to help them with what their strengths are and out there. And I mean, both of them, like you said, with their size and stuff like that, how strong they are. Obviously, they're going to be able to handle their one-on-one situations in the corners and stuff like that. So, kind of just trying to create space and let them do their man that's on them. And when they do that, they get a little time to pass or shoot the puck. So, kind of just try to give them as much space as possible, and then just be there to support them whenever you feel like they need it.
Well, the Red Wings as a whole, your guys' team is off to the hottest start that they've had since the last time they made the playoffs. You're right now sitting at first in the wild card, a quarter way through the season. What do you think has led to the success that you guys have seen so far early in the season?
I feel like everyone's been buying into the system that Newsy wants, and I mean it's not really rocket science. I mean, I think his system has made things easier for a lot of guys, and really understand what we need to do in every situation wherever the puck is. So big credit to the coaches for really simplifying things and helping us out with what we need to do and stuff like that. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to the guys, and we got a lot of good leaders in the locker room that's leading the way and showing the guys on the bench how we're supposed to play.
With you mentioned Newsy and everything, and you were obviously here for a little bit last year too. So like with new coaching regime, what has that transition been like? Like what has it been like with Lalone and his new, like you said, his new system and whatnot? How has that transition been over the summer and obviously over the start of the season so far?
I mean, I think it's been fairly easy. Obviously with a fully new system, it's not gonna be that it right away. But I think we worked hard on it during training camp and really put down, like, every time we're on the ice, and if it was on the ice or watching video, kind of really trying to get into the system and biting into it, and really they were really good at showing every single situation, like I said, what they expect us to do with it and where we're supposed to be and go. So it seems like everything is crystal clear when it comes to where you're supposed to be when you don't have the puck to be able to help the guy with the puck.
So, and you were part early in the season, you were part of probably one of the most exciting plays, not just this season, but Red Wings fans have seen in a while in that LA game. It's been so far the only goal you have this season has come off of. Dylan Larkin made an incredible play on the other end of the ice to stop an open net, empty net goal. And then they come all the way back down the ice. And then you bury the puck right in front of the net off a feed from Perron, I think it was. What was that moment like? Not just obviously you scored the goal to send it to overtime, but what was it like for you on the ice to witness what Larkin just did? And like, what was that energy like? I have to imagine that, us as Red Wings fans sitting on the couch or jumping out of our seats, I can't imagine how electric it was being on the ice when Dylan Larkin did that kind of thing.
I mean, I thought it was kind of over there when I saw, I think it was Arvidsson in LA having the empty netter and basically a breakaway, and kind of see my corner of the eye, and Larkin comes flying past me, making that diving save kind of, and I mean, like, we felt like as soon as he did that, we kind of knew that felt like a moment that we're gonna go down and score now. And I mean, we've been successful both power play and 6-on-5 this season. I feel like we've created a bunch of chances and probably should have scored more goals. But like you said, like when he did that diving save on Arvidsson, it kind of felt like we're gonna get this one and we're gonna send it to overtime. So it was an awesome feeling.
Has that been like a recurring theme too? You just mentioned it there. Like it feels like you guys should be like scoring more goals than you are. And you guys are scoring plenty of goals. That's for sure. You have a winning record, but you've been on two teams that have won. Actually, across your career so far, you've got 2 rings yourself, but you've been on 3 teams that have won Stanley Cups. Are you noticing any similarities between what the Red Wings are building right now and the teams that you've won championships already with? Are you noticing any of those trends developing with the Red Wings?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a lot about being consistent, and that's maybe one thing we need to work on a little bit, being more consistent throughout games and periods during stretches. But definitely see similarities with the teams and how we play, and especially how you're sticking up for one another out there. So what I am building is right now, it's fun, really fun to be a part of, and hopefully we can surprise a lot of people.
Awesome.
Well, I think talking again about like some of the previous teams you played on and stuff, what was it like getting traded to the Detroit Red Wings? Like, talk us through the moment in which like you found out, and just how, I don't know, how getting traded feels like, I guess, but also knowing that it's the Detroit Red Wings and what you knew about the guys that were already on the team and whatnot.
I mean, I was on the plane with St. Louis. We were just about to take off to Washington when I got the phone call. So took my suit off and put my comfy clothes on and sat down with my coffee in the plane when I got the phone call. So it was stressful moment, kind of shocking. Hadn't heard anything or nothing. So it's just get off, put your suit back on, start from the back of the plane and just say bye to everyone and leave the plane basically. So a lot of big shock, and I think right after I got off the plane, Yzerman called me, and then also he had Lidstrom on the line talking to me. So
Wow.
that was definitely a cool moment during that kind of blackout, stressful time that it comes with too. Just going home, have to start packing, get a call from the team management in Detroit that my plane is leaving in 2 hours. So it's just start packing stuff up as much as possible and get on a plane. So I mean it's stressful definitely, but once settled in here, I was really excited to be here, and I mean seeing during the summer with the contracts that Yzerman signed with Perron, Sherratt, and Kopp and all these guys made it a really exciting time to be a Red Wing. And I mean I feel like we're coming a long way on this rebuild that they've been having.
I want to follow up with you about the phone call you received from Yzerman and Lidstrom, because I know how I would feel if I saw that name pop up on my caller ID. But before I can ask you that, I do have to talk to the people today about betonline.net. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer and esports. They've got it all at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, they've got those at BetOnline as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are joined by Detroit Red Wings forward Oskar Sundqvist. And Oskar, I want to follow up on something you said, that when you got off the plane, you got a phone call from Steve Yzerman and Nick Lidstrom was on the line. And I mean, I don't have to tell anyone this. Those guys are living legends in Detroit. And Nick Lidstrom was just named the best Swedish hockey player of all time. And you're a Swede. And I got when you get a phone call from guys who are Hall of Famers, some of the best who have ever played it, and also now your boss, does your heart get pumping a little bit extra?
I mean, it's kind of like a surreal moment, and I don't think you really understand it until you hang up the phone. So I mean, it was really cool to, and I was surprised that he was by Yzerman and he just handed the phone over basically. I actually think I missed his first 2 phone calls because I was so trying to get home as quick as possible, and I had my phone blowing up everywhere. But no, I mean it's a super cool moment, obviously, and I don't think I understood it really until we hung up and you kind of let it sink in. I was like, holy, just talk to Lidstrom, and I totally forgot that he was even there, and so it was super cool.
Is Lidstrom as big of a superstar in Sweden as people think over here think he is? Because I think there's an assumption that Lidstrom is considered just this godlike entity over in Sweden. Is he worshipped in Sweden for his hockey, or is that something that we make up?
I mean, I feel like it's both him and Forsberg will get more recognized later on. Last couple of years, obviously they've been huge with their careers that they had, I mean, now it's definitely he's recognized wherever he goes.
Well, we also have this organization as a whole just has so many Swedish ties, and like obviously you being a Swede, what is that like? Is that a cool thing to have like in the back of your mind at least? Like they're so prevalent in drafting them. They have so many ties scouting over there. They bring in so many players that are Swedish. Is that kind of a I guess cool thing to be a part of?
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, like you said, like even years ago, they had a lot of Swedes. I think I counted now the other month during training camp. I think we were 10 or 11 Swedish guys. So I mean, it's also super cool, and it's nice to be able to speak some Swedish sometime too. And I mean, I think I started with 5 Swedish guys in St. Louis, and last year I was by myself. So it was definitely nice to come to a team with a couple of Swedes that you can joke around with.
Do you ever like play pranks on your teammates by like speaking Swedish like in front of the guys who don't speak Swedish and just like drive them nuts because it's a language that a lot of guys in the locker room use, but not everyone?
No, I'm trying to keep as much English as possible, especially if it's someone around. I kind of have to tell Perrin to stop speaking French a lot of times in the locker room.
Who's he speaking French to?
I mean, I think Joe Galeno speaks a little bit French, and
Good for Joe.
also Tanger, assistant coach. They're always walking around speaking French to each other. So I usually tell them to speak English instead.
That's great.
Well, kind of tying into talking about Perrin, like this team, like really under the radar, has a lot of players that you've played with before. Like you have like quite a few players that you're playing with now that you have ties to in the past. Like, what is that like, knowing that when you first get traded here, you have the shock of, oh, like I'm away from the team that I've been a part of for years now, but you're going to a team with several players that you've played with before. Was that kind of a cool realization?
Yeah, well, and I mean, we were all good friends in St. Louis too, and I mean, I was literally living neighbors with Perrin, just 2 hours apart from each other. So it definitely gives us some comfort too when those guys came in, and especially, I mean, on the ice, we know each other pretty well, and know what we need to get going and stuff like that. So Perrin is always up my butt trying to get me going during games. So he knows what button to push. So
he's a bit of a stirrer.
Yeah, he is. So he's good though. He's been really good for this team and for the young guys. I think just watching him and learning a bunch of stuff.
Does anyone ever chirp him and Cop for their tinted visors? I feel like that's something that people would tease him over.
Not too much. I told him though when Cobb and Perrin played together that the third guy in their line must put a tinted visor on to feel welcome. But yeah, not as much as you would think. But I like to tease them a little bit about it.
I have a question. I've never had the luxury of speaking in like this kind of setting to an NHL player. And so my question is just like, what's it like being an NHL player? Like so many kids grow up dreaming to be a professional athlete. I grew up dreaming of being a professional athlete. I was short and sucked at the sport. So here I am talking about the sport instead.
Not an elite prospects page.
I have an elite prospects
Don't let
page.
him sell you short.
3 games played juniors. But Oskar, you've accomplished the dream. Not just that, you've been to the summit twice and won Stanley Cups. Like, what was it like on draft day? What was it like playing your first NHL game? And what's it like just like living the life that so many people have always wanted to live?
I think a lot of it is really like surreal, and I don't think you really understand how good and how cool everything was until you stop playing. I know I talked to a lot of guys who would play with a lot of veteran guys. It's basically telling you don't take a day for granted. Like it's going by fast. And I mean you just trying to enjoy every single day. It's obviously, it's like you said, it's a dream come true, and it's just trying to enjoy every single moment that you're getting to experience.
So in a similar light, just talk to us about like being on a Stanley Cup winning team. Like I know that you got off to like a really good start where like your rookie year, like you're on an incredible team and winning cups already. But again, that in St. Louis, like that was more of like a slow build up to that summit. Just
You
what
had a
is it
great
like?
postseason that year too. You had a great
Right, yeah,
postseason.
very, very roller coaster of a season, obviously, for that team. So just talk to us about what it's like being on a Stanley Cup winning team. And then again, like with all the ties you have on this current Wings team, like what it's like to be with some of the guys that you've been teammates with before.
I mean, I think the St. Louis one obviously stands out more to me, like you said, with the roller coaster season, being last in the league, and coming back from that, and just you can really sense like the group coming together and starting playing for each other, and everything just clicking. And then I mean, it's basically every single series in a Stanley Cup playoff is basically a war. So it's just a big battle, and you're exhausted after every one of them. So I mean, it's so cool too. With what you said, like you end up being on top and lifting the Stanley Cup, and you just get to enjoy it. I mean, don't really remember a lot of the things afterwards.
Fair enough.
Try to puzzle together, but no, I mean it's awesome, obviously, and doing it now too, like having Prawn here that I battle with and won with in St. Louis is a good feeling, and really trying to maybe use that experience to help this team, mostly on the ice, and what it takes to be a winning team.
Awesome. We're gonna come back in segment 3 and hit up some more lighthearted questions, I think. And we'll do that in segment 3, like I just said. So when we come back on Locked On Red Wings. Segment 3, Locked On Red Wings podcast. Let's hit some more of the fun questions, the lighthearted questions. We'll ease off the hockey-centric questions, I think, for a little bit, the ones about the games and all that, because we're here to have some fun. And I think the first question I got in regards to the lighter-hearted questions, Oskar, is last night, Monday night, rather, you debuted the reverse retro jerseys, and they are polarizing in the Red Wings community. A lot of people don't like them, but the people like Scotty and I that really do like them are very fervent about it. We think that they look very sharp. What's the overall like locker room feel, and what's your opinion on the black and red reverse retro jerseys?
I think my personal one was kind of when I first saw them on the picture, and like when they released it on, I think I saw it on Twitter, I was more like, man, it wasn't great. But seeing them coming into the locker room last night or Monday night there, and seeing them, they changed my mind completely. I thought it looked awesome, and I think overall the guys on the team really liked them too. It's kind of the same as me. Like when you actually saw them live and up close, they were really awesome.
I know as well, like if we're comparing them to like last year's reverse retros, those ones were like, I don't even know if you had the pleasure, we'll say, of playing in those. I don't know if they if we even used them that late in the season, but they were very like boring and gray, and
They're white with the gray stripes.
Yeah, no one really liked them at all. So I think for a lot of people, we were just excited that they actually like tried something different. And there's a lot of people that don't like the black on the jersey and whatever, but I think it is kind of cool just to hear like your side of it and just be like, oh, like, because I think that was a shared thought. Like a lot of people were like, yeah, like maybe, and then seeing them on the ice, even from like a spectator's perspective too, and seeing them on TV, I thought they looked a lot better as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like I said, a lot of guys thought they looked way better when you actually saw them. And I mean, I personally like them a lot, and just those little details too that you do, like maybe with the helmet and the pants that you put the black on instead of the white. So I mean, that obviously helps a lot to clean it up and makes it a lot better.
Do you ever So we've mentioned it a couple times. You have a couple Stanley Cup championship rings already. Do you ever, and you're coming to a Red Wings team that's building up, still in a rebuild. So you got a lot of teammates who have been here for a while, who have not had any success yet in the playoffs, postseason. Do you ever walk into the locker room when your two Stanley Cup rings just to flex on them a little bit? Oh, and you're like, oh, these? Oh, no, don't worry about those. Those are nothing.
No, definitely not. It's more coming here now, and then like you said, guys been here for a lot of years, some of them, and I mean you've seen some of the Larkin quotes at the end of seasons, and I mean I think you more just playing for a guy like him, trying to help him the best way, and helping him have a team that is successful. So it's more about me personally feels more like that, and trying to help people that are not experienced it to get to do that. And I feel like right now we're all kind of playing for that.
That's such a good teammate answer. I would totally be walking in the locker room with two Stanley Cup rings on my fingers. Absolutely. But that's also probably part of the reason why.
That's why you're not in the league, dude. All right. You mentioned there, like hearing the quotes from Larkin and whatnot, being someone who has not been a part of the Red Wings for a super long period of time. What is the, like, around the league, what I guess is the vibe about Dylan Larkin, and what's it like then playing with him as well? Like, obviously the captain of the Detroit Red Wings, like what is the viewpoint, I guess, of Larks?
I mean, obviously very talented and skilled player. But I mean, I feel like around the league, it's been talked about. It's been too thin around him, maybe.
Sure.
That they haven't really gotten that successful team around him to help him. But I mean, awesome captain and awesome guy, and I mean with this rebuild too, and guys coming in, and younger guys getting more experience and playing the right way now, and I mean just from being from last year in the end to this year, the young guys that are here now again, such a big difference with how much experience and then how they're playing and really playing the right way. Can't say I didn't really see that a lot last season, and it really gives you a good feeling about the team and about the future.
Awesome, man. That's great to hear because, you know, obviously in the locker room, I'm sure everyone wants it more than any fan does, but us fans, it's great to see the team succeeding as much as it is. And we're eager to watch this team continue to take the step forward to, you know, hopefully maybe make the playoffs this year and make a push. But the last question I have for you, as we are running out of time here, running low, is on the number 70 that you wear. I see that you've worn two numbers in your career. You wore 40 with Pittsburgh, you've worn 70 with St. Louis and Detroit. What is the reason behind you chose 70? Is there one?
Not really. I was gonna go for 81 first, because that would have meant the draft number. But you know, couldn't really take that from Phil Kessel when you come in first year to the league.
That's fair.
so and I mean, I got 40 in Pittsburgh and picked that. No particular reason. I think more I liked how it looked on Zetterberg, I think. So that's kind of why I went for 40. And then going to St. Louis, was trying to keep 40, but we had a goalie that had 40. So then I was like, oh, what do I do now? I liked 70 and I liked how it looked. So I picked that, and I remember after couple of weeks into the season, Doug Armstrong grabbed me at the rink, the general manager in St. Louis, and asked me if I sure you don't wanna go with a lower number. Like, no, I'll stick with this one. It's fine. Try to get me to switch to a lower one, but I didn't really want to do that. So yeah, I stuck with 70, and it's no really particular reason. It kind of just happened.
I respect
Scotty, you got any last questions you want to ask him?
Favorite place to eat downtown?
Good question.
Downtown or around Detroit?
Either.
I would say, I would say any restaurants I've been to in Detroit has been awesome. So I would say downtown there, this She-Wolf is very, very good. And then in Birmingham, I would go Adachi.
Oh yeah,
one of our favorites.
You've got good taste.
I'll go with those two.
Great answers.
All right. Yes, no answer. Right. I'm asking for a yes or no answer to this question.
Not maybe.
When you not maybe. When you retire, will you play on my men's league team with me?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
If I'm here.
There you go. There you go.
That's a fair
I have to be in Detroit though.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let's go.
He's just gonna show all of his friends this video now.
Yeah.
And just be like, look.
Oh man. All right.
Hopefully that's not for a while still.
You're officially a moose knuckle now, man. You're signed. Awesome. Well, Oskar, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. This was so much fun.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. We hope to do it again. Spread the word around the locker room that we're really chill guys. Get a couple more of you guys on.
Yeah.
But again, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and good luck tonight. By the time this airs, good luck tonight against Buffalo.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Of course. We'll be back tomorrow with a game recap of the Buffalo Sabres game. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.